Hello everyone, I'm Tristan and we are finishing an entire TOEIC test together, 5 questions at a time. Now, today we will look at questions 106 to 110. If you haven't checked out the lesson 101 to 105, go back. But we are going to do a real TOEIC test and I will show you how easy it really is to get the answers. So before we start, please subscribe, please like, please share. All right, let's get started. We are going to look at question 106. Now, here it is. Pause your screen if you need time. Okay, so let's find out what the answer is. Now, to get this answer, it's important to understand 2 things: vocabulary and context. Grammar will not help you here, because all of the options are adjectives. So, we first have to understand the word world-renowned. Now, this is an adjective. World-renowned means famous and respected around the world. Therefore, it is a good thing the company has this employee. So the company is fortunate to have him. Drake Pharmaceuticals is fortunate to have a world-renowned chemist. They are lucky. So fortunate means lucky. All right, let's go to question 107. So same thing, pause your screen if you need more time. Okay, this is actually very easy. This is just about basic grammar. We see next year at the end of the sentence. Therefore, we need future tense. The only future form or future tense form is will start. So the answer is C, will start. Let's go to 108. So, same thing, pause your screen if you need time. So let's look at this. Some voters have a clear blank for candidates who have practiced law. Now, some important vocabulary here is candidate. A candidate is someone who might potentially get a job or a position. For example, in the last American election, the 2 main candidates were Donald Trump and Joe Biden. If you are applying for a job and you might get the job, you are a job candidate. All right. So once again, for this question, grammar cannot help you here because every option is a noun and you need a noun. Therefore, understand the statement and pick the most logical answer. There are 2 options people usually choose. People either choose selection or preference. Now, let's think about how we get the answer. When we talk about selection, we are talking about choices. For example, Amazon has a wide, large, massive selection of products. Notice when I describe selection, I often use size, like wide, large, small, big, tiny, massive selection. If I go to a restaurant and there aren't many choices on the menu, I could say the restaurant has a small selection of dishes. Okay, preference, on the other hand, is the noun for prefer. Now, if I say I prefer hip hop to heavy metal, another way to say this is out of hip hop and heavy metal, my preference is hip hop, or I have a preference for hip hop. Before preference, we often use words like clear, heavy, obvious. For example, if we look at the American election, once again, there were 2 main candidates. The 2 candidates were Donald Trump and Joe Biden. In the state of California, voters had a clear preference for Joe Biden. But in Alabama, voters had a clear preference for Donald Trump. So, because we see the adjective clear, we can guess this is preference, not selection. So when we're talking about voters, some voters have a clear preference, so they have a clear preference for candidates who have practiced law. So now let's go to the next question. This question can be answered using two things, grammar or vocabulary. When you are describing the number before a noun, you will use an adverb. For example, if I said the party had 20 people, if I'm describing the 20, I would use an adverb. For example, there were approximately 20 people at the party. There were exactly 20 people. There were about 20 people, or there were roughly 20 people. The adverb roughly before a number means approximately, about, around. For example, the population of South Korea is roughly 50 million. So about 50 million. However, I could say the population of South Korea is exactly 51.78 million. Actually, it's probably not exactly, but that when we use roughly, we are talking about approximately, about, plus number. Therefore, the answer here is roughly. The last question, this is 110. Before we do this question, I want to teach some new vocabulary. So let me put the picture on the screen. This is called a faucet. This tool in the kitchen, this piece of equipment in the kitchen is a faucet. A leaky faucet is when water doesn't stop coming out of it. So let's look at 110. Now our first step is grammar to eliminate one answer. The answer we can immediately eliminate is quite. Quite is definitely wrong because the word quite goes before adverbs and adjectives 99.99999% of the time. It's the same rule as very and extremely. For example, if I say, I quite run, that is crazy. Even though quite is an adverb, you do not put it before a verb. Or if I said the price increased extremely, this is wrong because extremely is describing increase and extremely does not describe a verb. So right away, we can eliminate quite because quite will not go before use. So after we eliminate quite, the next thing we can eliminate is however, and the reason we're eliminating however is because it doesn't make any sense. Why are we using a word like but in this context? So now we're looking at the situation. When there was a leaky faucet, could visitors use the first floor restroom? No. So in the past, they could not use it. But then they fixed the leaky faucet. Can visitors use the washroom now? Yes. So the answer is now. There it is. All right, everyone. So we finished 106 to 110. Please subscribe to get the updates of when I'm going to publish 111 to 115.